Hello, my name is Summer with Summerly Design Co. and I am an obsessive sock knitter and sock knitting pattern designer. And this week I thought I would do a little show and tell. I have so many socks to show you. I have a new dining room to show you. There's just been a lot going on this summer. I've got new bangs, no braces. There's just been a lot of change. So I wanted to show you some of the amazing socks that I've been knitting lately and then show you some of the cool things we've done around our house. So let's start with the socks. First up are the Puffy Checks socks. I think I released this pattern like sometime over the summer. What is time? I can't remember exactly when I released them, but I love these socks. They're a really beautiful textured sock. This reminds me of a thermal shirt. That's kind of the look I was going for with these. And then of course I added the pop of color at the top of the cuff and then just a tiny little patch of color here on the heel. And then of course the toe, but definitely the real star of the show is the beautiful thermal shirt-like textured pattern. And now that we're getting into fall, I really want to knit these in beautiful fall colors because it's a very fall stitch pattern. Like just looking at it now, I'm like, ooh, I need that in a really pretty fall color. So those are the Puffy Checks socks. That's really hard to say. And I haven't shown you those on YouTube yet. And so those came out this summer. You can find a link for the pattern in the description below the video. It's a really great pattern to knit when you're just cozying up with fall movie marathons, like Practical Magic, the Twilight series, obviously, because the stitch pattern is really easy to memorize. So you can kind of set it, forget it, and then just knit without really having to think about it, which is always good knitting when you've got lots of good fall shows and movies to rewatch, which I do. I watch the same ones every year. Next up, I haven't done a sock set in a while. This is the True Crew sock set. And this sock set was born out of me wanting to try a new heel. I have been a heel flap and gusset fan for years. I still love the heel flap and gusset, but I will admit sometimes it feels a little tight across the top of my foot because I have a high arch. So I went in search of a different heel that could maybe solve that problem. And I also wanted to find a heel that it would be really easy to continue a stitch pattern down the heel. I think the heel flap and gusset looks great, but sometimes I do feel like it interrupts the flow, like the artistic flow of a sock. And so I wanted a heel that could also, it would make it really easy to carry a pattern down the back of the heel, and I found it, and I proceeded to knit 3 socks very quickly. I started with a striped pair, and that's this beautiful pair of striped socks. I adore these. And I'm gonna hold it up close so you can really see that heel. It just looks so good. You see how the ribbing is able to carry down the heel? It just looks so cool. And it's so much roomier than the heel flap and gusset for me. I don't feel like it stretches so tight across the top of my foot. I had a ton of fun knitting with all of these delightful colors. I love knitting scrappy, stripy socks. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love going into my yarn closet and then just pulling out scraps, colors that just really speak to me and feel happy together, just whatever's making me feel happy in the moment. That's just kind of what I do. And then I get to put them all together into a beautiful striped sock. Obviously, self-striping yarn is an option. I have some, I've just never used it. I love making my own, my own stripes and my own colors and just putting them together just based on my mood and how I feel. So that's what I do. But yeah, had a good time making these. I always love knitting stripes and I love knitting striped ribbing. The pattern set, which you can get at the link in the description below when it's currently on sale, it does include tutorials for how to knit neat ribbing without purl bumps. Like you'll notice whenever I kind of pull this apart, you don't have contrasting purl bumps when you have the color transitions. And so I've got a neat little tip in the pattern for that. And then of course, obviously avoiding jogs when you're knitting stripes in the round. I've got that tip in there as well. A lot of you probably already know it, but I like to include it just in case you're new to my patterns and you don't know that particular trick. So this was the first pair of the True Crew sock set that I knit. There are 3 patterns total in this sock set. So when you buy the sock set, you get 3 patterns, you get all the tips, tricks, and tutorials. And like I said, you can grab that in the description below the video if you want to check it out. It is on sale for a limited time. The second pair was the classic crew socks. I embroidered my initials in these socks because I just love vintage stuff like that. I like 90s stuff. I like preppy stuff. And to me, like having your initials embroidered in your socks is like the cutest thing ever. It makes me think of like if you're going away to some amazing summer camp in Maine somewhere and like you have your initials like embroidered into all your clothing. So these turned out super cute. Love the little pop of color stripe on the toe. Very vintage looking, and I always love a vintage cool sock. And you can really see that amazing heel shape. I just love it. And you can kind of see how much roomier the gusset is. So if you have a high instep, I really feel like this is just magic. And then the third and final sock in the True Crew sock set is a different ribbing. And again, look at the cool heel. I love seeing this delicate ribbing. It looks stunning going down the heel, and it looks really stunning on too. I know a lot of people do not like knitting 1x1 rib. I understand, but I've grown to love it. I have found it very meditative, very relaxing, and more importantly, it makes you a better knitter. Believe it or not, if you are a newer knitter or you've been knitting a while, but you're struggling with tension on socks, 1x1 ribbing, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. It like increases your finger dexterity, your muscle memory, your tension starts to even out and tighten up. So I feel like it's like just doing exercises. If you are a tennis player or a professional, whatever, you have to practice. You have to do musician. That's what I was going for. You have to practice your scales, right? 1x1 ribbing is to knitting as scales are to piano or guitar or any other instrument. Getting in that kind of practice can only improve your knitting by improving tension, muscle memory, finger dexterity. So if you don't like 1x1 ribbing, I highly recommend you do it on socks because it doesn't take that long. It produces really beautiful socks. Look at this heel. They fit really well. They look so delicate and beautiful and very 90s. Again, I love this paired with loafers, like super, super 90s, this sock paired with loafers. And you improve your knitting all at the same time. So think of it like scales. These 1x1 ribbing is your knitting scales. So that is the True Crew sock set, just released, still on sale. You can grab it at the link in the description below the video. I love seeing sock sets all together. Like this whole set, I just love it. It just has a very vintage, cool 80s, like 70s, 80s vintage vibe. Big, big fan. Love when they're all squished together and it's just like a big sandwich. It just makes me so happy. All right. Third and final sock in my show and tell today is the latest. Actually, I think I've got two. I've got 2 Cuff Club Volume 2 socks to show you. You'll recall from my last video, we started out with these. We had 2 patterns for the August chart. If you are unfamiliar with what Cuff Club is, I'm gonna link that below as well so you can check it out. Essentially, you pay one price, and for 12 months, you get a new cuff chart in your inbox that you can knit into a sock. It includes a base pattern so you know what you're doing, a guide, all that stuff. Click the link to check it out. It has all the information. But for the first month, the inaugural month was August, and we had 2 charts in August. We had this really beautiful, delicate cabled cuff, and then we had a colorwork chart. These really beautiful flowers, which you could knit in multicolor or one color. It was up to you. So that is August. We've been there. We've seen that. Now let's take a look at September. I freaking loved September. This was such a cool architectural cable to design and execute, and I love the way that it turned out. One thing that I really wanted to do with a lot of these textured charts was to pair them with really beautiful speckled yarn so I could use up some of my special skeins of speckled yarn that look best on vanilla socks. And I've accomplished that so far. I mean, look at these, just August and September alone. These 3 socks are so beautiful and they look so good together. These different little cabled cuffs with the beautiful speckled yarn, like, I love it. But I love color work too. And I love how these 2 turned out for October, we had lace enter the chat. I love lace knitting. I don't do it that often, but I love it. And I decided to bring it into Cuff Club because I want to grow all the skills, right? Knitting socks is such a great way to improve skills or to learn new ones. Last year, Cuff Club was all about color work, and I feel like all of us became better color work sock knitters from that. This year, we're gonna have some color work cuffs too in Cuff Club, but I did want to expand it to other things like cables and lace and texture. And part of that is because I love people having a library of different skills and different charts that they can mix and match. For example, you could absolutely knit one of the cabled charts with a color work chart and it looks beautiful. I love that. You could do the same with lace. I feel like you could do a really pretty like color work chart above and below the lace. And so that was one of my goals with Cuff Club, was to help you expand your skills and then to give you a lot of different kinds of charts that you could mix and match together. You can also, of course, carry the charts all the way down the sock. This beautiful lace pattern, this is October. And I adore this lace pattern with this awesome twisted rib. This is one of my favorite socks I've ever knit. I don't know why, I just really, really love this delicate little pop of lace just around the band at the top. It's just really feminine and delicate. Oh, it is just so pretty. But yeah, you could pop in a color work chart above here, below here if you wanted to, mix and match. So I don't want to ever give anything away. But November's going to be really awesome. I've been excited about November for a while. I'm really proud of what I created for November. Really proud of this beautiful lace chart. I think it looks great and I'm excited to, I've actually got an idea to like mix it with another color work chart from last year's color work Cuff Club, from volume 1 of Cuff Club. So we'll see how that goes. But again, that's the fun of Cuff Club. You can take charts from volume 1, volume 2, you can mix and match them together. And I love that this year we've got cables and texture and lace entering in so that we can then mix color work with cables and texture and lace and just produce really beautiful, intricate, interesting socks. So that's it. Those are the socks I have to show you. It's a lot of socks. I'm just gonna hold them up here. We've got all of these. I mean, it's like a big pile, just a huge pile of new socks that I have been able to show you. And I love that because I've been knitting a lot. Look at all that. Oh my gosh. Just beautiful. I love it. Okay, now I want to show you my dining room before I go. So a year ago, we moved into a basic builder house. It's just a new build house. Builders aren't exactly known for adding charm or any of that. I mean, it's just a bare bones house and that's great. That's kind of what we wanted. Our previous house was over 100 years old and it had lots of charm and lots of problems. So many expensive problems. So it's been great living in the basic builder house because we've had no problems so far, knock on wood. But we have been adding our personality to it little by little, and the dining room was basically just bare. I had one giant picture of a horse, a girl riding a horse in there and a table, and that was it. In fact, it's that picture here that I now have above my fireplace. We moved, horse girl. She's now above the fireplace. So yeah, and then we did a whole new thing in the dining room. I found some prints off of Etsy that I bought and then framed, and I didn't put glass in the frames because there's such a horrible glare. There's a really big picture window in the dining room, so I left the glass out, and I think that actually looks really good. We bought these cabinets that you see under the artwork, and that's to store my grandmother's china, cookbooks. We added like the little lamps, you know, little things like that. So it's not much. Oh, and then drapes. We added the curtains over the picture window, and that added a little bit of texture. So, and then, oh, the light fixture. The light fixture that you can see, really cool. We got that at a vintage market here in Tulsa called the Windsor Farms. If you're from Tulsa, you know, it's in the Farm Shopping Center. And it's great. They curate amazing stuff there. So anyways, I just think it turned out really pretty. I love it. I'm drawn to it. I actually just want to hang out in there all the time. I do work in there, eat in there, obviously. Kids really like it. Their friends like it. And that makes me so happy. If a teenager comes over to my house and they're like, this looks so good. Like, it makes me feel so, I just want teenagers' approval of me really badly. All right, that's it for this week. I just wanted to do a quick recap, a show and tell, all the things I've been knitting lately. Once again, you can find links to all these patterns in the description below the video. Got a lot coming out this fall that I'm very excited about. I'm going to be talking about my next book soon. That comes out in February, but I'll be like sharing information about it sooner than February. Yeah, November Cuff Club's coming up. I've got another sock set coming out. All good things. Very excited. So thanks for joining me this week, and I will see you next time.